Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a long time. I haven't posted since that first video. So this is really not a channel. It's more just like when I'm gonna post a video. Today I'm gonna be doing a palette declutter video. I love palette declutter videos. They're my favorite type of video to watch. Like that's relaxing, take off the edge. And I felt like I've had palettes since 6 years ago now, maybe more.
Disgusting!
And I feel like those palettes should go and get out of my collection. I just don't need them anymore, and I need to man up and just get rid of my emotional attachments from objects. Don't judge, I have a very strong emotional attachment to some of these palettes, even palettes I don't even touch. It's gonna be hard for me to get rid of them. So please bear in mind, this is my first declutter. Hopefully we'll do more of these. Let me know if you want a lipstick declutter or either like a face declutter. I can do one of those because I definitely need to look through some of these drawers and really consider whether I actually need them. I think it'd be good because eventually I do want to move to New York and I need to size down a lot and start thinking about things that I actually want rather than what I need in terms of just having a collection, you know. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know about this view, but ignore the stain on my shirt. I'm sorry, but I can't help it. Oh, we're gonna start. Okay, so this is my palette drawer. These are almost all my palettes. There's another drawer under here and I'll pull that out at the end. Hold on, I have a few more in my drawer. I have a lot of different palettes from over the years. Palettes are my favorite thing to collect, so it's gonna be hard for me again to get rid of these. I have my two Mcgrath palettes. This is Mothership 5. Well, I will not be getting rid of any of these palettes. I love this palette. It's one of my favorites for like evening looks, but like basic evening looks for sure. But they're not basic because they have these transformative shades here. But definitely I spent this with my hard-earned money, so I'm definitely not getting rid of this. Okay, so this palette is the Rose Gold 2 palette. It's in this beautiful pink packaging, even though there's fingerprints all over it. I'm sorry. This one is one of my favorite palettes in my whole collection. I'm definitely not getting rid of this. Like, this is my favorite shadow I have, period. It's like a green pink shift. But yeah, love these palettes. Would recommend if you are crazy like me and you spend way too much money on eyeshadow for no reason. Now we go into my Colourpop palettes. So first we talk about the Mulan palette. I love this palette. I know it's like not Mulan, like it's not Mulanish at all to me, like when I think about the actual movie, but it is pretty packaging for one, and two, I do like the inside. It's really nice. This is probably one of the better formulated pressed glitters from their collection. I usually don't like them, but these ones I can actually use, and I like the mattes in here. They're pretty deeper, like more in depth than other browns I've had from Colourpop. But yeah, I would definitely recommend. Oh, I'm forgetting. I'm gonna be keeping this palette, if you didn't understand that. Okay. Goodnight Palette. I just got this palette off a whim. I think my mom bought this for me because it was on sale and she had Ulta points, so that's why I got this. I really like it. It's not like amazing. I think I'm gonna keep this in the maybe pile because I don't really need this. The only thing I would want this palette for is these like cherry shades, but I'm not sure. I might have stuff like this already, but I do love a good like cherry maroon color shade, but I don't really need this. I do think the mattes are really good in this, so I don't know, probably maybe if I find something that's similar to this I already have, that I'll keep, I will get rid of this. Okay, the next palette, Meant to Be. These are like part of their 9-pan colored palettes. I'll go through those really quickly. This one, keeping. Insert this look. I really love this palette. It's actually like really shows up. I think it's really versatile. Also, look, you can see my camera. Love these mattes. Definitely keeping this. Then Just My Luck. Definitely keeping this. Love this palette. I think it's really pretty. The Honey palette. I'm gonna keep this. I love yellow shades. I love this palette. I think it's really good. The only shade I hate in this is this stupid pressed glitter in here. I wish it was just another yellow. But I really like this palette. I think it's really cute. I really sought after this. So yeah. Keeping that. Seems like I'm not getting rid of stuff, but I will. Another one I'm keeping. The Strawberry Shake palette. You can see I really use this palette. It's one of my favorite pink palettes with these maroons color. Okay, next palette, Making Mauves. Okay, so I already thought about this palette when I was thinking about doing this video. Love the shimmers in here. So good. Love the shimmers in here. So good. So good. But like the mattes, it's like a no for me. I'm thinking about just depotting these glitter shadows, but if I can't depot them, I'm getting rid of this because I can't even use the whole palette. And honestly, I definitely have shades like this somewhere in my collection. But if I can depot these and then just give someone the mattes, or like depot one of the glitters and give them to somebody in the house, I'm sure they'll be able to use it better than I can. But definitely, if you're darker skinned and you thought about getting this, don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. Next palette, Lilac You a Lot. Okay, I got this kind of later when I was in my obsession of getting these monochromatic palettes. I don't have a palette, to be honest, that's like purples like this. Like I do have another palette, Smoky Glow. I'll get to that. That has purples in it, but it's not like purple like this one. I'm thinking about like taking some of these and putting them into this Making Mauves palette. I'm pretty sure you can like change them up, right? I don't know. Because if that would be possible, I could just like take some of these purple mattes, keep them in this palette, and transfer some of these glitters I like into that palette, and then whatever fits into this one, I'll keep. Did that make sense? Yeah, I think so. So maybe I'll keep some of these, maybe I'll keep some of these, but if I can't get them out for whatever reason, I'm just gonna get rid of them. We have the Misplus palette. You see how it's still in its packaging? That's because I don't like it. That's not true. I have stuff that's still in its packaging, but I specifically put this back in its packaging because I thought about returning this if possible, but I can't. This palette, I tried 1x time. No. Like, it's so light. I don't know what I was thinking. In this camera, it makes it look brighter, but trust me, it looks like pastel white shit. No. I don't need it. I tried it. It didn't work. No, 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 no. We have the Little Ray of Sunshine palette. I'm gonna keep this, I think. I've used this a lot, actually, since I got it. I do wish the shades were a little darker. Like, I can't really use this row. But I do like these rows. If I see other... I love the packaging. That's another reason I want to keep it. But yeah, love this palette. I think it's cute. I do use these two rows a lot. Like when I just want a boring eyeshadow look. Cute as Fuck palette from Colourpop. This is one of their first palettes I think they came out with that was like powdered eyeshadows, but not singles, like in an, like a palette like this. As you can see, this palette has been used so much. Like, look at this shit. Like, I used to use this in my freshman year of college, which was, bear in mind, now 3 years ago. I'm a senior now. I haven't touched this palette since kind of that era of my life. I mean, I do like it, but I don't need it anymore. It's kind of like, you know, I moved on. I've upgraded. The shimmers in here aren't that great. The mattes are actually pretty good. The orange, I love this orange, as you can see, but I have palettes like this. I don't need it. Next palette, definitely not getting rid of. I think this is the last one. At Foresight, I just recently got this. It's Raw Beauty Christie's collab. This is now one of my top favorite Colourpop palettes. I really didn't need to get any of these Colourpop palettes. I just needed this one, to be honest. Let's move on. So now we're on to the Raw Beauty Christie Pure collaboration. Definitely not getting rid of this. I stayed in fucking line. I literally bought this at 3 a.m. Like, I was a trooper to get this palette. I love this palette. I think it's really nice. I use the neutral side more than the colorful side. But I like the mattes in here. I think the shimmers are also good too. I know they're underrated, but yeah, love this collab. I wish it was still available. I feel like this is the perfect gift to someone. Next is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. Oh, definitely not getting rid of this. This is one of my favorite palettes. It definitely like replaces this Cute as Fuck palette. All the shimmers and mattes, chef's kiss. I can't get enough of this. I use this a lot in the summer and spring. I do not know why I have this. I think I got this from Marshall's. I feel like my mom like got it for me. The inside, honestly, this is one of their better like color schemes that they've I think this came out in 2018. Formula is actually pretty good. I've worn this about a few times. I think it's pretty good. Do I think it's amazing? No. The only reason I want to keep this is because of packaging. And that's like so bad. Because like I have all these colors. I have all these colors in better formulas. So I think I'm going to get rid of this. And I have the box. So it'll be nice and packaged for my roommates. Now let's move on to some of my favorite palettes. Even though this brand disappointed me. Let's talk about ABH. These are my ABH palettes. They're all beat up because I use them 24/7. Okay, so this Modern Renaissance palette is really cute. I love this palette. You can see I have hit pan on almost all the colors, more than half the colors, I think. But unfortunately, I really want to keep this. I really do, but I feel like I should get rid of this. I feel like I should get rid of this for a couple of reasons. One, Anastasia's formula goes bad after a few years. It's just doesn't feel as buttery as before. It doesn't work as best as it did before. I also feel like the formula has gotten way better in the other palettes I have that are later in her line. I feel like I'm gonna get rid of this, but if I really miss this palette, then I probably will repurchase this because this is a staple. But I just feel like the formula is just not as good, so that's why I want to get rid of it. Plus, a lot of the shades like that I love are just like already almost gone. Like these two, I used to use these raw sienna and burnt orange in my crease every single day, and now they're like basically gone. And like all these other shadows are just not as good. So in the end, my long spiel for no reason, I love this palette, but it's just not as good. And if I miss it, I'll definitely repurchase and I'll let y'all know if I get it again, but probably not. I don't think about this too much. Next two palettes I'm not getting rid of. This Soft Glam, if I hit pan, I said to myself on all these 4 of these colors, I'm definitely gonna be repurchasing this. I love this palette. It's like perfect for your wedding, my future wedding that isn't coming anytime soon, but I love this palette. So pretty. This palette is one of my top 5 favorite palettes I own. This is the Jackie Aina palette. I love this. It has some of the best shades in here for black girls and people of color. Yes to this palette. I feel like I just want to buy a backup just in case she runs out, or like just in case if I start to hit pan of these shades. Next palette is the Dose of Colors, the Frontation palette, I believe, with Katie and Desi. I sought after this palette for a year and then finally got it this summer. Love the shades on here. These transformative cool shades. They're just so nice and you can blend them together. And I love the mattes. I probably am not interested in anything else Dose of Colors does, to be honest, but I love this palette. This is like a Z palette. So in this, I have Colourpop shades. You can tell I have a lot of Colourpop in my collection. I also have these like random matte shades. I think this is from the Naked 3 palette, which we will get to. I think I'm just going to, I don't know what to do because I do love some of these shades, but some of these shades I have already. I think I'm just going to clean this off because this looks gross and just give it to somebody who would want some of these singles in this palette and just give this palette to somebody else because I don't really get singles anymore. I just don't feel like it's useful. I don't remember to use these unless they're in a palette. I do like some of these shades, but I just have them in other ways, so I'm gonna get rid of this. This is my newest palette I just recently got like a week ago. It's the Naughty palette from Huda Beauty. Not gonna get rid of this because one, I've only used this for a few times and I do really love this. This is a great palette. The only shade is this stupid slippery shade. I know she put this in here just to say something, just to make it loud, but like, no, like this is not good. Everything except for this shade is good. So, loved it. Next palette, not getting rid of. I feel like I'm not getting rid of that much stuff, but this is pretty good for me, okay? This palette is from Color Rain. I love this palette. It is beautiful. It is limited edition. You can't get this anymore. But it is so pretty. I am definitely not getting rid of this. This has some of the best greens. Like, kind of was thinking, because like I got rid of these singles as I just told you. Like some of these shades are in here. Like I don't need this. Love this. Never getting rid of this. Next palette. Okay, I think I'm gonna get rid of this. This is a long time in coming. This is the Tartlette and Bloom palette. I have a weird relationship with these shadows. When I first got this when I was in high school, I love this palette. But now I feel like I don't really like the formula from Tarte. It's too muddy. All the shades kind of run together. Like, especially like if you try to use these dark shades, it just kind of muds the whole look up. The only shimmer I really liked in here was this Funny Girl shade, and I dropped it one day when I first got it, probably like a month or two after I got it, and it broke. So that was the best shade in here, and now I didn't have it. Someone else will probably want this. Next palette I am definitely not getting rid of is the Smoky Glow palette. Love this palette. It's probably one of my favorites this year. I'm going to be doing a favorite palette video this year, so look out for that. I love the pinks and purples in here, the orange and the cool shimmers. Hopefully after this video I'll be able to fit everything in here. Okay, next is the Goddess palette from Alter Ego. Definitely not getting rid of this either. These shimmers are really good. It's a great dupe for the Natasha palettes if you look at their whole line. I love the mattes. The mattes are a little bit not as deep as it could be, but I keep this especially for these cool shimmer shades. Definitely keeping it. Okay, next we're looking at the NYX Ultimate Shadow palette. I've had this for a few years. I really like this palette. I just feel like I don't need it anymore. I have a lot of colorful shades now, and I can do pretty much all of these colors. I've used this a few times for my friends, just because it has like everything and it's in a small little palette. But now I have like the James Charles palette, like stuff that has all the colors I would need. And I just don't need this anymore. So the next palette is the BH Cosmetics Desert Oasis palette. Not getting rid of this either. I love this palette. It's so pretty. The shades, the shimmers, you can tell are just that wet putty like shimmers that I love. That's my favorite formula. Also, look, I broke the mirror, but it's okay. I love these mattes in here, but the shimmers are really the star. Chef's kiss. So we're nearing the end. So we have my Naked 3 palette. This is my first eyeshadow palette I ever owned. My mom got it for me. I think one day I was like, I had just started watching YouTube videos like that week, and I just like fell in love with makeup YouTube. I was watching Kathleen Lights. I saw her do this Naked 3 tutorial, and I was looking at these like in the mall. Like I never really wanted anything like palette wise. I'd had a few like probably like Neutrogena quads or something like that, but my mom was like, do you want this? And I was like, yeah. But
Well, just as I thought, trash.
As you can see, this palette doesn't even have any colors. Barely. A lot of the shades I put in here, as you guys saw, these two are from this palette. The only reason I'm keeping this palette is because Trick used to be my favorite eyeshadow shade of life. It still kind of is for like nostalgic reasons, and sometimes I do wear it. Let me just try to swatch it now. Like it's that beautiful like champagne pink color. Let me get rid of this. Now we go into my other Too Faced palettes. I have the Chocolate Bar palette from OG YouTube, and also the Peach palette from like the second wave of OG YouTube. I don't know what to do because I love these palettes. The smell on these palettes, they still smell so good. The Chocolate Bar palette, I probably would use maybe actually like none of these shades anymore. I do not need this. Some of these are still pretty good shadows, but I would probably never use this anymore. But I just want to keep it for like the nostalgia of it all. But I know that's stupid, so I'm gonna get rid of this. I think I'm gonna I have to get rid of one of these, because the Too Faced Peach palette, I feel like I will use this palette way more than I will use the Chocolate Bar palette. I still pull this out time to time. I think some of these shades are still good. I sought after this palette like crazy, like everyone else did in the first round. It still smells good, still not bad. I love these brown and this peach color and this dark brown I use for my eyebrows a lot. Feel like I want to keep this and get rid of the chocolate bar palette. The Kylie palettes, I'm pretty sure I'm getting rid of both of these. One, you know, I don't really support her brand too much anymore. I don't know why this sticker's in here. I did really love these colors. Now, I might keep this, especially because this one is the Burgundy palette and this one's the Bronze palette. I used to use these palettes every single day, especially the Bronze palette. I feel like now I can't really use this because one, the shade broke here and this was my favorite one. I do love like the orange in here, and like I hate the shimmers. Shimmers are terrible. I did like these, you know, browns, but I don't really need this anymore, so I'm definitely gonna get rid of the bronze. The Burgundy, however, I did actually really love this, and I had just pulled this out recently. I'm thinking about keeping this in terms of like, but if I get rid of this, then can I keep the Ordinate palette? Is that similar enough? I feel like the Ordinate palette is like a little bit better than this palette, especially now. Gonna get rid of this Kylie palette, and keep the Ordinate palette from Colourpop. I made my decision after 6 million years. So I have the Morphe Kathleen Lights collaboration from 8 million years ago. Yes, I still have this. I don't know if anybody still has this, but I do. I love this palette at the time. I think the shadows are really good. I don't really love Morphe shadows as much as I was really obsessed with them just because they were so cheap. The only shadow I think I might just depot and keep is this green color. I don't really have a green color like this one. It's just so, let's see if you can see that. It's just still so reflective. Like, that's so pretty. I'll see what else I have. I think I don't have anything like this, so I'm gonna probably depot that and then get rid of the rest of the palette. Okay, so I have the Saharan Palette by Juvia's Place, as you know, has controversies, and I do struggle to whether I should support this brand or not, but I do love the eyeshadows a lot. I've considered buying a few of more of their palettes, I just haven't, but I have only this one. This is so pretty and unique. It's one of my unique color schemes in my collection. It's hard to come up with a look just with this palette, but I do. I feel like you have your brown, you have your black. It's definitely like an out there palette. It's also a palette I go for just one shimmer, you know? But these like reddish, like orangey shades are so unique. Love this palette. Okay, so now let's go to but let's just do this really quickly. Okay, so first, these are all my bigger palettes. That's why they have to be in a different drawer. But I have my ABH Norvina palette. It's the Norvina 3. I don't know why I kept the packaging. I just love the butterflies. But I realized the butterflies is on this packaging, so I don't really need this. It's just a waste. This palette I used a lot in the summer. I love the colors here. They're so like vibrant and fun. And I do like this color scheme. I'm sorry, I'm struggling to know how to hold this. I think I'm gonna keep this because I do use this when I need like a certain color. Like I feel like every time I need a random color, it's always in here. Definitely gonna keep my Jaclyn Hill palette. I know I don't love Jaclyn Hill anymore, but her original formula, this is not the new formula where it's all messed up. This is her old formula, still works for me. One of my favorite neutral palettes. You can tell this shade is used. I love this palette. Yeah. Then we have the Carly Bible palette. This is an old baby. I love this palette. I think I'm gonna keep this. I don't even use this though anymore. Do I actually need this? I'm not sure. Actually, I'll put this in the maybe palette. I don't know. Next is a James Charles palette. I'm probably gonna keep this just because it has all the rainbow colors I could ever want. I usually pull this out when I'm doing fun looks, like creative looks. I don't actually love the shimmers in here. The shimmers in here are kind of bad, to be honest, but the mattes in here are pretty good. I do love them, and they have a lot of variety. Yeah, just caught that in my hand. Okay, and the last few palettes, these are Morphe palettes. This is the 35O. I don't think I've opened this in like actually 4 years. I don't remember the last time I actually used this palette. I don't even know why I still have this, but I think it'll be a perfect gift for someone. Okay, so my phone just died, so if this looks a little bit different, sorry. Now we have on to the 35 Frost palette. God, 35 Frost palette. This is a cute palette. I love the shimmers in here. Actually, they're really good for whatever reason. I don't know. Really pretty. But I don't need this. I have a lot of shimmers, and I'm sure other people would want them. This is a nice matte section I don't need. Yay. Last palette. Thank God. This is, I don't actually know what this is. I think someone gave this to me for my birthday years ago. I really loved it at the time because I didn't have anything really of HGV. I assume it's like one of those Amazon brands, but anyways, it's giving me Claire's makeup. I don't know why I still have this. I think I just kept this because it was like a gift. But maybe I'll see if any of my friends want it. If not, I'll probably just trash it because it's been like 6 years. It doesn't smell that great, but it always never smelled that great. So that's it all of my palettes and my declutter. I'll just put all my palettes back into one shelf, hopefully. Oh, I also forgot I have these. This one I think is my mom's. This LA Girl Feverish palette. Sorry, Mom, I need to give this to you. I also have these quick little elf palettes. I keep them for, oh God. Okay. I keep them for eyebrows. I don't even use them for my eyes anymore. These are like the Mad for Mattes. This is one. I mean, this is two. And I think this is one. I think I'm gonna keep one for my eyebrows and then get rid of two. Quickly before we end, let me just show you guys what I just did. So I'm putting up a picture of the original Lilac palette and the original Making Moths palette, and I literally just now mixed them all up. So now I just kind of took the shades I wanted from this palette, from these two palettes, and put into this one, and then I just have this one that I'll totally give away and see if anybody wants these colors. I finally got all my palettes in one drawer. I don't need to use two anymore. So now since I got rid of my palettes, I used to have 46. Now I've gotten rid of 16, so doing the math, 30 palettes around there, I think, if I counted correctly. So like and subscribe. Hope you guys like this video, and yeah. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video soon and not in 6 months.